This eye look makes me rethink everything I've ever done.
Yes.
I'm going to have dreams about him tonight.
If you say what I know, you're going to say, he did this makeup knowing it was going to be black and white.
You are a sick...
I was thinking at the minute I picked this picture.
There is purposeful placement, blending, saturation. I'm going to throw up.
We're psychos, but I'm squint at this.
You would believe her whole body's glossy. Cher just takes off her clothes and she's just gloss.
Totally. You want to show me something? Show me that. How did I not? How did we not? Oh, I'm going to throw up.
Shut the fuck up.
Welcome back to another episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Do I have anything in my teeth?
Did you say or again?
I think I did, and then I pivoted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tried to say that. Do I have anything in my teeth? No.
No.
We just ate pizza. Yeah. It's our second episode of the day.
We were going to do 3.
Yeah. That might have been a little ambitious.
It sounded good in theory.
I know.
It sounded nice, good, and delicious. But like...
Not as delicious as that pizza.
No. Yeah. That was needed.
I know. I love your Barbie shirt.
Thank you.
You got it at TJ Maxx?
Yeah. I am literally like $9 maybe. I was like, girl, what?
Yeah. I wonder if that's a Mattel licensed or...
Oh, girl, I doubt it.
Yeah. It says Barbie in the font, so it probably is Mattel. Yeah. Gosh, today we are finally, honestly, talking about the great genius Kevyn Aucoin, probably one of the most famous makeup artists to ever live.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about kind of just the history of him and what he did and his impact, as well as react and kind of dissect some of his most iconic looks.
Yeah. And some of our favorite looks that have been...
Absolutely.
that I know that I've seen over the years.
Oh.
There's been some that have been burned in my brain that I'm like, this man is a genius.
I remember one specifically, one look we have was something that oh my God, the first time I saw it, and it's not even that complex. It's just simple, and it's just something about it.
I mean, we'll get into
I know.
We'll get more into it.
Let me chug this.
Do it up.
And we'll be right back. I need to hydrate.
Cubes made out of vodka.
Stay hydrated. Yeah, it's water with vodka ice cubes.
Yeah.
Vodka doesn't freeze?
No. Oh, please.
Yeah. Anyway. So, what's your relationship with his books, first of all? Because I feel like all young makeup artists, like, you obviously learn about Kevyn Aucoin, which, for reference, I think he was born in 1962 and died in 2002. So he's only 40. I just feel like whether you get his books or whatever the case may be, you know of him. You learn of him at some point. Absolutely.
I mean, it's so cool to me too, because if you didn't get I don't have any of his physical books, but I remember every item you would purchase from Kevyn Aucoin Beauty, and I can't speak for the brand today, but when you used to open his contouring book, and it was almost like pages out of the book where like the art of doing it was explained in the panel. Like it was like, I'm doing this to do this, and like never use less than 3 shades to do this.
Absolutely.
This is how you do it. And oh my gosh, there was something so stellar about his work, and it was more like a painting, not makeup. It was truly a work of art. It was like Mona Lisa, like in live.
For those of you who don't know, so Kevyn Aucoin really kind of rose to popularity in the 80s and the peak time of the supermodel era. So his first Vogue cover was the same exact time it was Cindy Crawford's first Vogue cover. So they were on it together. Yep. He did her makeup for it, and it was so interesting because, I mean, people can have different opinions, but in my mind, I think of Kevyn Aucoin in the sense that it's not like we're giving him credit for all makeup ever, because there's obviously been unbelievable things throughout since the dawn of time. But I would say Kevyn Aucoin is like the godfather of modern makeup. He was the one to kind of bring this idea where if you really look at makeup campaigns or commercials, and everything was pretty much the same. It was just kind of like white it out and, just flawless skin, touch up here and there, and that was about it. I didn't realize he was such a good artist, when they showed his drawings in his documentary, which makes sense. I found it interesting that they said he blanked them out, got rid of them,
and restructured them.
And then completely restructured them, because it sounds funny to say that, because he was also somebody that always took their natural beauty into consideration. It wasn't like it was this Kardashian cake makeup. Like, it was really still, sometimes you saw their skin through the foundation. You saw their natural freckles. It wasn't this heavy thing, but he was somebody that really started to revolutionize what we know today as constructing the face, the contour, the changing or enhancing or distracting from however, plus or minus bone structure and lifting the face and using eyeshadow to completely reshape the eyes. And what he was able to do on people was unreal.
And it evokes emotion too. When you look at his editorial work,
absolutely,
he could take somebody's face and maybe restructure the brows so they look more downturned. So it evokes this emotion of you feel for this person for some reason.
Right.
You feel this like sadness, or you feel this like uplifting kind of feeling from just the makeup alone. At the time of doing makeup, you don't have that many resources, where now there's brands everywhere. You could buy makeup everywhere. But at the time, to have that level of artistry with very limited resources and having to take your medium and like, okay, I have to mix this, I have to do that, I have to make it look like this, I have this up here and I need to put it here on that face. That's where it's truly a painting. It was more than doing makeup. Now it's like, oh, everyone and their mother wants to be a makeup artist. But I'm like, do you understand what it is to be a makeup artist?
Completely.
And I always say it too, when I do makeup, I put my like whole everything into it. And when I leave, after I'm done with makeup, sometimes I feel drained.
Oh,
because
I'm emotionally exhausted.
And
physically.
And you're putting so much energy, physical energy into something. And I feel like that was kind of his downfall.
I thought that. So when we were watching his documentary, it was on Netflix. I don't know why it's not on anymore.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
Yeah, it's like $2.99 on Apple TV, but it's called Kevyn Aucoin, Beauty and the Beast in Me. And it really kind of just spoke to, in his last few years, like in the last, I would say 5 years were really the rough, maybe 3-4 years were the most rough. But I agree with you. The whole time when we were watching it, I was thinking exactly that, because I think there's a transaction that happens when you're doing anything in beauty. And I think it can be the same with hair, but I don't know. Having my cosmetology license and doing hair and having done both, there's something different about makeup because it's someone's face. You are literally responsible for the way they look. Bridal, the biggest day of their life, or editorial, Cindy Crawford's first Vogue. There's something about
the pressure of it all.
And the emotions that go into it. And it was really sad near the end. He had a brain tumor, like a growth in his brain that basically ended up killing him, in conjunction with he was abusing the pain medication because he was in so much pain that it was kind of a combination of everything. And that's why he ended up passing away. But it was really sad in the last couple of years. I get it that to a certain extent, especially someone struggling with addiction, it's not, you can only do so much. But it really hit me at the end of it all, where I was like, wow, here's this documentary of all of these models and actresses and everything talking about how much he changed their life and how beautiful he made them feel. And then to see him at the last couple of years of his life completely alone, no one helping, no one anything. It was very just like, thanks for making me beautiful. Like
the quote he said, and it was out of his mouth. Someone was, and I love that everything was documented on video.
Yeah, it was his home videos.
And he said, everyone can tell you that they love you, but until you love yourself, that love doesn't mean anything. RuPaul says it, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? But it was amazing that in a different way, all these people were like, I love you, I love your work, I love you, I love your work, but he didn't love himself. That like hit me to a point I was like, oh my God. Because how many people, Cindy Crawford, everybody was like, oh, he's amazing. I loved him. I felt so close to him. Gwyneth Paltrow said that.
Yes.
I felt so close to him.
And maybe they did shower him with love, but felt like it wasn't heard. So they were like, what are we going to do? Kind of a thing,
And maybe they didn't, in the moment, these celebrities, they might have said and be like, oh no, he knows I love him. But it's like,
but
if
they
he
didn't know
goes
what he
home
was
at the
going
end
through.
of the night, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter no matter how much you tell somebody or no matter how much you show or tell. Sometimes it's just if that person doesn't fully believe it themselves, they're going to in one ear out the other.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, I think, with the emotional aspect, because with bridal, I feel like it is very limiting as far as the creativity goes, because you're really doing a lather, rinse, repeat. Like everybody kind of wants a variation of the same thing. Unlike what he did, they were saying there was days he was scheduled. I mean, it was his calendar in 1 week was Tina Turner, Cher, Madonna,
Janet, and
Whitney.
And like then Gwyneth Paltrow to finish out and it was like his whole week.
Absolutely.
And you go from such a all-time high to being like, you went from this this kid too who had nothing.
Rough upbringing.
And, you know, he was going through so much as a kid and so like wanted to just be great. And there was a woman in the documentary who said, you know, you chase after this dream and you get to where you want to be. But then once you get there, what do you have to look forward to anymore?
Exactly.
When you're already at that career high, I'm making all the money I can. I'm doing everything I could do.
He was doing the makeup of all the women he idolized as a kid.
Where do you find the happiness? Because if you are doing Cher's makeup for Song for the Lonely,
I know,
and you walk away from that feeling empty, like what is there?
God, the irony.
It's just, oh my God, like it just
that was the last thing he ever did. Jeez. Wow. Yeah.
And it's like you walk away still feeling empty, and then it means so little to you because it's not making you happy. So if you watch it, it's not a happy documentary.
No.
It's like by any means. It's very telling though that like mental health issues are so debilitating.
Oh, I know.
And it had to have been a part of it. I mean, definitely mental health issues of not feeling good enough, being adopted and not feeling wanted. And here he is, the most sought after makeup artist at that time was him. And it still wasn't enough to feel wanted by everybody else, but he didn't want himself.
Absolutely.
Which is like a mind fuck.
And it's crazy too, because I always feel like people like that who are going through such internal struggle, what they end up projecting out into the world through their art ends up being as good as it is. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way they know how to channel it out.
I even question like a lot of the models I was looking at looked sad. And there's one in here in particular that always does it for me, where she has like these thin downturned brows and she's looking into like the abyss of like, I'm looking for hope. Like I just always felt that way with a lot of his work.
He documented a lot of his own videos behind the scenes, which is what a lot of the documentaries made up of. But a lot of the photos you can find are what is in his book. But really to find anything outside of what was in his books, it is so difficult. You remember the scene in the documentary where his father had all the magazines. He worked, it was like hundreds of magazines his work was in. All of that stuff is probably
only in print.
That's what I mean. It's lost to that medium. It's not, it's so difficult to find. And it's like, imagine to be able to go through and get all of that work and find the just a one-off little editorial. You know what I mean? That might be some of the most brilliant stuff. Yeah. And it also begs the question, because we were saying too, like, I don't know, kind of the nature with his beauty brands, because it wasn't started when he was alive. It was started after he died. And
was it really?
I'm almost positive. Yeah. I don't think he started it himself.
Really? Because I don't know why I thought he was alive for some of it and then it started to tank. Let's see. Holy shit. Kevyn Aucoin Beauty was founded in 2001. And he died in 2002. So there was only a year of this ideology of like everything that he loved in makeup. So hence why I feel like the vision is like,
oh God,
lost.
Yes.
Even starting a brand in 2001, it's like he's in such a mental space where he's like, this is probably what he dreamt of as being a makeup artist. The sad part is too, not even being able to use your own brand for like editorials and stuff and really let that brand flourish while he was alive is, oh my God, that's so devastating.
I know. There are some products from Kevyn Aucoin that are great, but I've always viewed it as this weird like ghost brand that I'm like, you know, it's different than a brand who you knew was founded by someone 100 years ago and their name is still on it. Because you were like, that's what I'm saying.
This feels personal.
Because it was such recent history that we remember him.
Yeah.
So it's this weird ghost brand that I'm just like, what would it be if he was alive? And I also was saying, what would makeup be like today if he never died? Could you imagine? What would it have continued to be? Would we be in this Kardashian era?
I think if he were around, I think he probably would have done the Kardashians' makeup.
That's what I mean.
In a very different way.
Absolutely.
He would have done their makeup in such a complete 180 that that wouldn't have even been a thing.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine the impact. Imagine going into a Sephora or an Ulta and seeing his brand be the Charlotte Tilbury of it all. Charlotte Tilbury is like, you know, the self-proclaimed best makeup artist in the world, which no. Mm-hmm. You don't even do your own makeup and you don't let people see you without makeup. So even your husband. So anyway.
Really?
Yeah. somebody that works for the brand told me that, and I was like, oh God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like her own husband doesn't see her without makeup, and she doesn't do her own.
Okay.
So you're a makeup artist, but you don't do your own makeup.
Yeah.
Got it. Anyway.
Interesting.
But I feel like if he were still around and that brand was still what it was, because I remember meeting one of the brand reps years ago, and the philosophy of the brand was still very much his values of like everything he always said and all of his steps, and the products really, like they really kept his legacy going in a way. There was always something about it, like you're saying, that it sort of felt like this ghost brand. It felt very ingenuine. Like I was like, that's
like
kind of weird.
When they try to release music from a singer after they're dead.
Like,
Michael Jackson.
I was just about to say, I don't need the Michael Jackson LP of like everything that was
feels
unreleased.
A little like,
like that was their art. Maybe we should let them have that. And like that was them when they were here. And not that I'm not grateful that Kevyn Aucoin Beauty isn't around, because we just ordered the lip liner.
Yes, but it's just I can't help but wonder what it would be if he was here. Like I just can't imagine his impact today if it continued.
Phenomenal.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's heartbreaking to think about the legacy he would have still been.
Oh my God, for the past 20 years.
I mean, he would have been doing such amazing, wild things in this industry and with that brand and just all the Vogue covers. I can only imagine how he would have adapted.
And he was so influential too in the way really dark-skinned girls were getting their makeup done. There's also an amazing 4-part documentary that just came out on Apple Plus. I think it's called Supermodels something, and it's really about Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, and Christy Turlington. And the 4 of them were really talking about, you know, Linda Evangelista was saying at one point, she was like, because there was a lot of stigma with black models, they only ever had one black model in a show. It was, you could really only have them in the summer, not in the winter. They always had to wear the bright colors, like all these stereotype, like BS things. And it got to the point that they all got so close that Linda Evangelista used to say, if you don't book Naomi, you don't get me, like to get more representation. Wow. And Naomi Campbell loved him so much, we'll dive into when we dissect the looks, because he understood how to do dark skin and kind of, which will break it down, the philosophy behind it. He used lipstick as blush. If he didn't have a color for something, he always used his fingers to blend things out. And the thing about his work that is so mind-blowing is it always looks so effortless and not full coverage, not heavy, but somehow completely transformed.
And he was taking 7, 8, 9 hours.
Yes.
To do it. And it's so incredible to see that it looks so effortless and simple.
I know.
Yet he was taking hours.
Yes.
Where in the documentary they said that the hair people and anybody else dressing them, anybody else that had to step in to see the model at hand, whether it was Vogue or whatever.
Yeah.
He towards the end, he was like taking.
They got as much time as they got. Yeah, when he was done,
and they said nobody crossed him.
Yes,
and that's where it's like, oh my God,
that's where it gets sad at the end that he really fell victim to his ego at the end, which is a shame. And that's also the other thing. It's like maybe there wouldn't have been such a good impact in the last 20 years because of. Even in the end of where he was, he really did lose himself in a way. It's just so interesting, and I feel like we could kind of dissect the philosophy of how he did makeup more, but I think that we will do that so much better when we dissect these looks.
Let's do it.
We're going to dive in. Alrighty, so we are going to dive in looking at some of Kevyn Aucoin's most iconic makeup / our favorites.
Our favorites,
So, okay, so first up, this is Kate Moss. I mean, first of all, I don't care what anybody says. This man invented the cut crease.
Yes.
My God, the reshaping of the eye, the way that whole lid is matte and it connects with the outer corner of and that's the thing too. What he was so also genius at, and maybe this was an element of the editorial aspect and the fashion aspect of it all, was when the makeup should have or needed to be clean, it was clean. Look at that the lift that this is giving to the entire face, because there is barely anything on that lower lash line.
Yeah.
And the cut crease as we know it today, a lot of the time, the shadow sculpting kind of on the brow bone here, a lot of darkness on the outside corner smoked out, and then they will just really cut the inside half of the lid.
Yeah.
He took his cut crease because, again, he was reshaping the bone structure all the way from that inside and literally connecting it all the way out to the outside corner of the lash.
Yeah, and that point of intensity is right under the front of the brow, where it just draws your eye, where the eye just looks so much more lifted, and even the brow shape and the.
Oh my God!
He was famous for these like thin brows or bleached brows, and like this no brow or little brow. And I will say this across every look that we will look at today, and I know this for a fact. Every single look fits the model. It is not cookie cutter stamp makeup on anybody. He assesses the face. It just, I mean, it is really incredible. Everything about this and every look is flawless to the model.
That's a really good point of distinction, because I think that's a symptom of nowadays is, you know, when someone is good at something, you're totally right. And us being makeup artists, we know a lot of makeup artists. It's mama, cookie cutter, sugar cookies at Christmas. It is the same face on
stamped on everybody,
on every single person. It's Trixie Mattel makeup. Like when she does the Trixie Mattel face on other people, obviously that's the point, because it's supposed to look like that. But
I mean, you're taking that face and just like, this is my signature and I'm doing this on everybody.
They're not taking the person's face into consideration at all.
No.
And how much have you seen makeup artists in the lexicon that we know? They do brilliant work, but you see them post something that I'm like, girl, that does not fit her face. It looks like the Trixie makeup on someone else, where you're like, I know that's the Trixie makeup, but something's off. Like that's what their work looks like, because I'm like, that doesn't suit them, but you don't know how to do anything but that. You're not taking them into consideration.
Well, are you a makeup enthusiast or a makeup artist?
That's what I mean.
So
absolutely.
We need to draw this line of like, not everybody needs to do makeup, and we need to leave it at that.
Yes. And it's not being able to lather, rinse, repeat. It's about enhancing what the person has. And I mean, even exactly everything about the application of this, just from a distance, is so specific to her. The way the crease is cut, the exact positioning of the brow, the carving out of the contour, like everything is enhancing. And that's the thing. It's so odd, because it's like, it almost took me a minute when I looked at this to figure out who this was, because he had an ability to make them look like a different person, but still suit them in every way, shape, and form.
I have a very hard time with even some of the looks that I pulled. I can't even tell who it is.
You're totally right.
I cannot even tell who it is. And that's something I find to be so bizarre, because I think we're so used to seeing celebrities and immediately identifying, where when he did makeup, you could tell this was a Kevyn Aucoin face in his artistry level. And sometimes this person was unrecognizable because it's as if he was blanking out their face out of a paint canvas, and then he was drawing
starting from scratch,
and just everything, like drawing the eyeballs and everything.
Absolutely.
It's as if he's drawing the entire face on paper. It almost feels like a modern day Snapchat filter.
Yes. Oh my God. You're right. So
it's like putting those filters on where it goes on their face and it adapts.
Because nowadays I almost feel like celebrities want a makeup look that is theirs. The Kardashian, the Trixie Mattel stamp makeup. Once they get their makeup how they like it, that's their makeup. There's no playing. There's no artistry. There's no individuality, personality, creativity. Yeah. It's just the same.
These celebrities too were like, I want my face in his hands and I want to just let it be, because that's, I feel like, the beauty of an artist like him, and anybody that's a true makeup artist, they're going to adapt their skill level to your face and your liking and what you're doing, and let that person work.
Totally.
Because when you come up and show me, I want this, well, it's like, what about this do you like? Because you can't get this. And
I know.
It's not going to fit you.
I know.
So that's where it's like a good makeup artist will be like realistic with you and be like, this doesn't work.
Yes.
You need to tell me what you like about this so we can adapt.
I know.
So
beautiful.
This is so stunning.
Alrighty, next up we have the model, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her last name right, Nadja Auermann.
I think so.
Right?
I would say so.
So the reason I had to pull this was because this was such a talking point for his impact, because I said to you, I was like, this literally, especially in this pose, is Lady Gaga in her Bad Romance video.
Yeah, this.
Like, I did a double take. You cannot tell me that she did not model that entire makeup, everything about this.
The hair texture.
Everything.
The saturation of the makeup everywhere, the color, everything.
Yes. Also, nobody used matte eyeshadow like him.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, because he understood how to shape and how to define and not let his vision get out of control.
Because you know what the thing is too, with especially a lot of it was with his eyeshadow, where it was matte a lot of the time. I almost feel like a lot of that intention was because when you do have a lot of shimmer or glitter on the lid, it is a billboard for this is makeup. But matte, just like matte contour and blush, was for reshaping.
Yeah.
Matte products were for, it was like paint. You know, there's no glitter. Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci didn't paint with glitter paint. It was matte. It dried, you know, and that was because it has the ability to provide dimension when it's matte. So you look at something like this and you look at her eyes, I feel like he used so much matte eyeshadow because it was literally for the purpose of reshaping the eye.
It's truly, and I'm not just saying this, it is one of my favorite things to do with makeup is when somebody wants an all matte eye, or if I can do that on somebody, there's something about it's the solid color of everything that when it all comes together, you are restructuring everything. Yes. To me, it is more breathtaking than doing shimmer.
You're totally right. Because you know why? Shimmer hides all sins.
Yeah.
You do look like this.
If something looks a little boo-boo and
you are blending until your hand is Charlie Horse.
You're putting a little shimmer over here because it's going to diffuse the light.
Absolutely.
So it's
like even when you're doing crafts, they just dump glitter. You know what I mean? You get out of hand.
Trixie Mattel, when she's like, if it's bad, you put glitter on it.
Glitter on it. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, this to have it's like insane.
And then what I love about this look too, the glossiness of the lip with the matte eye and the matte skin.
It's all about those lips.
It is all about the lip and just like it's so strange to me because this eye is so smoldering and sexy, but it feels natural.
I know.
And it just feels like this is her with no makeup on.
When I look at his work, I want to take a makeup wipe and wipe her eyes off just to know what she actually looks like. You can't trust that anything that looks like a crease look like, because it probably wasn't that. Like, because he literally was that talented.
And I think the beauty of all of this, and this is just the beginning, but there's other looks that you'll see, we'll talk about, that when he looks at a blank canvas to look at somebody, where do you even begin to think that is the output that you're going to give? Where do you even start thinking of like, this is what I want to do? I mean, this is so breathtaking.
And it's all so balanced to have that under eye be that smoky, but to contrast it with that really big cut crease of that brightness to offset the darkness under the eye. So it doesn't drag it down because you're getting so much lift on top that it's evening it out. You have the boldness of her lips. And then in this makeup look, the bravery to barely touch her brows.
I'm going to hit you.
Barely.
Because I was going to say, if you look at where the darker
it would have been too much
crease, if you look at how the brow in the front looks more filled.
Yes.
And towards the tail of the brow, it's not as filled.
Yes.
And I feel like because
he
where
did
the
it
dark,
on purpose.
Yeah, the dark goes right up to nothing.
Yes.
And where the eyeshadow's lighter in the front where you need structure, boom.
Balance. You're totally right.
Completely. Look at the tones of everything.
It's inverted.
Yeah.
Yes. And to have two, and that could, with him, it could have been contour or shadow, but that the eyeshadow was going almost all the way up to her hairline, blending to give such lift to that. And I also love that the ends of the brows aren't filled, probably taking into consideration what the hair was going to be, what the whatever, because to almost not have the brows filled going into this, her unbelievable lion's mane, a blonde hair blowing, it just gives this added,
like a breathy, airy, untouchable.
For every harsh edge and for every dark, he always made sure there was an equal amount of softness and light.
Yeah.
And that is what is missing in so many people's work now.
Oh, completely.
It's unreal. You can't tell me that that's Naomi Campbell. You know what I mean? I know it is.
Yeah.
But what?
And
literally what?
Talk about clean. And also, too, let's do it again. The brows.
I know.
There is something so successful with looking at her brows and people would probably overdo it and oversell the brow.
Yes.
But with the lip and the cheek and everything being so harmonious.
Look at the way the brow connects flawlessly to the nose contour.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one. And if you want to study a photo of the philosophy behind shade, what's supposed to be brightened and highlighted, what's supposed to be contoured and sculpted.
This is the picture.
This is the photo. Literally, the idea of the nose contour going into the brow and then going down, highlighting underneath the brow bone, highlighting the center of the forehead, the bridge of the nose, underneath the eye, the chin, the jawbone.
These like golden nude lips. And then with the contouring with the liner, I mean, just shaping her lip to give it some structure, just almost as if it's the same color on the cheek. And I wouldn't be surprised if he used a contour like cream on her lip just to give it more structure and shape. Oh my gosh, it is breathtaking.
And you know why he was always my spirit animal was because when I did makeup, and especially a lot of times on Mother of the Brides or Grooms, like women with mature skin, a lot of them loved their under eye eyeliners and situations where it was just a lot of products on the bottom. And I don't know what that was or when that trend started that maybe it got ingrained.
It gets under my skin.
But I always used to say, and I would tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, it's not that we can't put anything under there, but the more we put and the darker it is, we are bringing the eye down. We are literally aging you.
Yeah.
And when I started, I would do a makeup look and then I would do the stuff underneath because that's what everyone else was doing. And I was like, oh, that like just ruined it. Like I don't like it now.
I think the same thing.
I love a very clean lower lash line because it gives more lift. It looks fresher, more youthful, more just clean. And I mean, my God, if this isn't the example of it, like it looks like he shaved your lashes off on the bottom. You know what I mean? It looks really, like bald. But
it just almost looks as if he took a flat concealer brush and literally went
in
right
between
under
the lashes.
eye
yes.
And just cleaned it out. I mean, lighting too, of course, is so crucial. But even look at like the center of her face that you could tell there's so much work in how he used her tone and said, I'm going to go lighter here, darker here, and really understood everybody's face shape, how light is going to hit it.
Yes. And another thing, which you can see in his books, this photo is such a prime example too of the antithesis of how everyone today is teaching you how to contour, which is the brown headband, the brown rainbow all the way like this. And you know who also, which I got to give credit where credit's due, she's a little bit lather, rinse, repeat, where it's the same face, but still just straight up skill, Miss Fame.
Okay.
Miss Fame. Look at where this contour is, where it always goes down and connects to the outside of the brow and stops right here where the highlight starts to come. So most of that contour is concentrated out here where it really should be two triangles like this rather than a brown arch. Having the sides of the forehead come back is what is giving you that lift. And I mean, everything about this photo is just iconic in the sense of the fundamentals of makeup. And this was the thing I was saying about dark skin. We talked about it on another episode. I love doing makeup on people with deeper skin tones. It's my favorite because of his philosophy. You get to use just to do their foundation. Let's say foundation and concealer, 5 different tones.
At least.
Absolutely. They have so many natural shades of lights in their skin more than white people. Like, I'm the same shade of paste.
But then there's somebody that's like, oh no, I have to use one to even it all. I'm like, don't you dare.
Exactly. Because if they did have a brighter on the inside, the foundation that matched their T-zone would literally make the skin ashy on the outside of the face. That's how much of a difference there was. So you had to use the multi-dimension.
Yeah.
And my God, it just pops.
And not a harsh line on her.
In sight. Yeah.
Okay, so this is one where I feel like understanding the angles of where she was going to be looking was so crucial.
Yes.
And this is where, because if she was looking straight at the camera, I feel like the angles of the shadow and everything wouldn't have made sense. And I mean, talk about like classic Kevyn and Johnny, like balance, like dark eyes, nude lips, everything.
Yes.
I mean, this is like quite fundamentally why I love makeup like this because everything, again, super balanced. But I love it because if this model was looking, I don't even know who this is.
I don't know who, I will insert it. I forget who this is on, but I know this is the first one from one of his books, where in his books, he was famous for transforming celebrities of the time into other people. So I don't remember who this is, but this is obviously a nod. This was him turning her into Barbra Streisand. This is the like kind of funny girl pose, like of Barbra Streisand, the iconic kind of look. So he's making her intentionally look like Barbra Streisand here. What is shocking to me about this is to have triumphed so well, but if I covered the eyes, she's got foundation, like the skin is beautiful, the lip.
Yeah.
He made her look like Barbra Streisand just by the eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no bone reconstruction on the face.
No.
He didn't make her nose look bigger. You have to figure as well, look how far her head is tilted back. If her head was straight, if her chin was down, that eyeliner is probably almost downturned, because
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Because if it's already downturned with her chin down and then lifting her head up, that's how downturned it would have to be for it to be that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
The
structure of the makeup, because you could tell they already had the pose in mind. So he had to perform this makeup
on a pre-chiseled, like a piece of marble. Like it was already in position.
He's thinking ahead.
If he made her look like Barbra Streisand with her chin down and then she posed like this, she wouldn't look like Barbra. You know what I mean?
It would have just been a woman with a smoky eye and a nude lip.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is truly a work of art, because he said, tilt your head back for me. And he was shaping everything and making sure that everything looked right. There is no sit in a chair straight up. He was like, tilt all the way back.
This poor girl's neck by the end of this.
It's next level commitment to the art, because he wanted the money shot. He was like, you're not leaving this studio until I get this level of work out of you.
Because even look at her lower lash line. Obviously, normally people's lower lash line, where it ends, if you continued straight out in a straight line, that's really where the shadow should be. Look how downturned that shadow is coming out.
And look at the front of the makeup, being that this isn't, because if she was facing forward,
she would look insane. But I mean, you're right. The way he angled everything it's this like upside down teardrop.
Do you know what I would love to see? I would have loved to see this angle of the face, but full facing front, of just like her doing this.
Yes.
Just seeing like the angular shapes of both sides of the liner.
I know.
This is so powerful in itself, but this is really like, I mean, oh my God.
Mesmerized.
Oh my God. So like, this is one of my all-time, just like speaks to me, because I feel like
it's your foundation color. I had to.
Papaya.
Yeah, papaya. Mango.
The level of this makeup too, that what I feel like a lot of his makeup was like very 60s, very 70s inspired, where it's like this like white blue makeup, and it's like very, very, very light. But I'm going to even reference something too, that when J-Lo's makeup was like that light blue and similar skin tone, because of the way he did this model's lashes and glued on individual pieces on the bottom, and almost gave that pinched lash.
Yes.
The top was very voluminous, but still very pinched. The brows, I mean, this is like
unbelievable.
The clean skin and like the very warm, like overly warm skin. I can't even begin to describe in the way that he shaped this model's lips without it looking like lip liner.
Yes.
But we're not losing her lip shape
at
because
all.
With the color of the lips, you would think this would wash her out.
Not at all.
The color choices of everything, and even there's like a floral pattern all over her, like the chest and everything, where you could see it's just, it ties that in together. And everything about a Kevyn Aucoin makeup too, there's always texture, tone, saturation, and harmony.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It is so incredible to me, because I'm going to assume that he does the makeup and then the hair gets styled and then they obviously get dressed.
Yeah.
The fact that I would have loved to see him on set when they are all said and done, he's like, stop.
Yes.
And how much maybe he's changed certain things.
Totally.
And is like, no, this is not happening. We're taking this off. We're adding this. We're taking that lip and we're doing this.
Yeah.
this is one of like
that is Christy Turlington. Like, I cannot believe.
Just like, it's so unbelievable. And I'm not even talking about her natural beauty. I'm talking about now this is like the fact that you are taking this idea.
That was in your head.
Right.
You know?
And this idea of I'm going to do all these things that would sound crazy on paper, but his execution and keeping in mind of every texture and tone that he's using. And he's like, I will balance these and make it work.
Yes.
Just absolutely flawless and incredible.
And that's what I mean too. It's like, and you get what I'm saying about the softness. And I know that sounds insane with a photo like this, because it's like nowadays when you have someone who takes a makeup risk, it's Pat McGrath gluing 1,000 rhinestones to Doja Cat's face. Like, it's just shock.
That's not makeup.
That's not, yeah. If you told me that was orange BB cream, like, you know what I mean? It's not this Halloween thing. It's still a human being. It's still them.
And I will say, I can't stop saying breathtaking, but it really, looking at his work, I would go to a Kevyn Aucoin museum, and if it was all of his bodies of work, you would have to kick me out.
I know.
Because I would fall into a trance with every look. There's something so special about all of these looks, and he never did the same thing twice.
Absolutely not.
It is so weird to me.
I know.
And this goes back to even after doing something like this, he's photographing, he's taking video. He probably in his head is like, well, I did that on Christy. I can't do that to Cher.
Absolutely.
I can't have them bridge their looks and then say, oh, Kevyn Aucoin is doing the same old look again.
Yeah.
He's doing his signature look. He didn't have a signature look. He was a look book. You liked her look? Well, I'm not doing that on you.
I know.
Get it together, because I'm not doing it. And it's just unfucking believable.
Even for this to be this orange peach skin tone and still with the nose contour going up where the brand new brows are, by the way, probably an inch above her real ones. Like, it's exquisite.
And you know what I really love about this too is that the flowers are covering her. Yes. And I wonder if that was almost a choice of him, so you didn't see her neck and chest be a different color, or that he didn't do all that. It's like, it just makes it more of an artistic piece.
Yes.
That he probably had the creative direction to be like, nope, don't do this, do it all here.
Yeah.
It'll make more sense. Like, since he was an artist already in a different form, he was like, no, we're going to do this and it'll cohesively make more sense.
Yeah.
When you cut it off and see the whole shot for what this is, it's just beyond.
Wow.
Okay, so we have Naomi Campbell in a different aspect this time.
That's a different person than the one before.
Like, I mean, okay, so my favorite thing about this too, again, is where we're going back to. Who was it before? Was it
Kate Moss?
It was Kate Moss. Okay. Again, the eyeshadow.
Yes.
Everything for where the eyeshadow was ending, the way that it almost starts down and goes up and creates that new crease of her eye. And again, it's this restructuring, the master of the cut crease.
Oh, God.
Now imagine this, Naomi Campbell, and understanding darker skin and doing all cool tone products and not making her look ashy.
Just going to say that because I was like, do you know the risk of bringing that gray cigarette ash on that skin? And my God, you know the genius of it too? It almost, because it is pulling that cool tone, the balance here of her warm skin, but it's offset by her eyes and that lip pulling the pink out. It's pulling pink just by having mixed with the undertones of being on top of her skin.
This like mauvey lip liner with this like iridescent pearl.
If that is a 90s lip stick
and then
or
this pink
gloss.
Blush and the warmer, I mean, like the warmth in her skin and everything, and with this like pearlescent color on the lid.
Yes.
And I mean, if you don't understand it, like I can't.
I know.
Quite literally, this looks like it was from an article called, and it was Color Theory. I mean,
I think this might have been from one of his books.
He understood.
Unreal.
I feel like if any great makeup artist were to try this on Naomi Campbell again and recreate this look on her, she would look nasty.
Hit them. Yeah.
Oh my! She would be like, "Stop looking at me,
I know.
Please."
And then you even look at something like this. Now you see all the like TikTok girlies acting like they invented a half lash. girl, like, you know what I mean? Stop.
Yeah.
All these people out here acted like they're redefining what's been done.
Right.
Like, stop. Like, it's all been done.
Yeah,
like,
Kevyn Aucoin was doing circles around
come
you.
on. Like, get out of here.
I could stop and stare at
I
this
want a blown
makeup
up, like, 8 foot by, you know what I mean? Like, wall
above my fireplace, and I would just sip tea and stare at it at night. I'm not joking. Like, I would stare at his work for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, this is inspiring me to, like, I want this on my face right this second.
I know. The longer I'm even looking at this, it's making me want to do different things. Like,
Like,
I'm
I want
things.
this eye look redone on me to, like, the level of, it's just...
I know.
It makes me rethink everything I've ever done.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's art. You know what I mean? That's like when you go to a museum and you're looking at a painting or something and it moves you to the point that you're like, my life has no meaning. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
Yes.
I feel no other way about people's artistry than I do with Kevyn.
No.
No one else makes me feel this inspired looking at makeup work.
Absolutely.
And looking at his art pushes me to a new level of I feel like I want to go create.
Yes.
This is just unbelievable.
And look at that clean ass under eye.
With a heavy eye like this, you know everybody would be like, yeah, we're going to smoke out the
just
bottom.
as much. They would have taken that black gray and put it all underneath the eye.
And I even feel like that's why I love it even more.
Yes.
And you know what's actually kind of funny too, is that with her, he did make a choice this time to fill in her brows.
Yes.
And quite literally across the board, and it just works.
I know.
And again, where the nose contour
perfectly
goes right up to that crease color, where right under that brow, it's a little deeper, and then it goes into that light brow bone. It just really...
I know.
Love this. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to be gushing about... I'm going to have dreams about him tonight.
I can't.
The fact that this is the same person as the first look.
I know. Look at these back to back. This is Kate Moss back to back. It is two different people.
And I'm going to say it, mother.
If you say what I know you're going to say.
Understanding your media, knowing it's in black and
white. He did this makeup knowing it was going to be black and white. You
are a sick.
I was thinking at the minute I picked this picture.
Because honestly, if this was in
that
color,
lipstick could have been
red,
green, and but he knew it was in black and white, and everything about the tone,
the blending
was for that.
Of this.
Yes,
he knew this. He knew the tone it was going to be in. It doesn't matter the tone of anything. He knew as long as this reads black and that reads white.
I know.
It doesn't matter. And the choice to do the no brow, this half brow with this bold eye, especially, again, what I love about his work, it's bolder on the inner corner and it blows out to this soft oval. It's purposeful. There is purposeful placement, blending, saturation. I'm going to throw up.
I can't. That's the thing with Kate Moss. Kate Moss is known for that very wide set doe eyes. It's hearkening to this like 1920s, almost, I don't even, like Great Depression kind of.
Vaudeville.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where to bring all of the depth in here, first of all, and not look messy. Not look messy.
Clean.
Yeah. To counterbalance how wide set her eyes are, but in a weird way, because her eyes are already so big, to make her eyes bigger, he knew, okay, I want to make them bigger, but I need to bring them together to make them bigger. So instead of blending out, which is literally lifting them and making them come apart, bring them together. It's disgusting, let alone look at the Cupid's bow on this lip. I would die to see this photo in color just to know what it was. You know what I mean? But you know he did this for black and white. He knew it was going to be black and white.
Because anybody looking at her real estate would be like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely use all of this to my advantage. Because how many times overdone. How many times have we seen it now blown out to the hairline makeup? And I'm like, and the fact that he kept it contained.
My God.
In the immediate eye area, contained. He didn't go 1 fucking ounce above that brow.
I know.
Wherever you would fill in the brow, that eyeshadow is not going above.
I know.
And again, it's this oval shape.
Yes.
Because if you squint and look at this makeup, it's that oval shape, but it's, again, that, like you said, bringing the eyes closer together and giving it the same height as you would on the outer corner.
I know.
But really making sure it balances out.
Yes. This is like I grabbed any eye makeup look today on Photoshop and flipped the eyes. You know, like horizontally, like reverse.
Screaming.
Right? Like if I Photoshop these eyes the other way,
up.
it'd be Evergirl on Instagram. Like it would be, you know what I mean? And
because it's too cookie cutter.
It's too weird.
We're calling you guys weird now. Yeah. How do you like it?
It's too weird. Yeah, but this.
Oh my God, this is just.
Even at this, we're psychos, but I'm squint at this. The
I know.
eyes literally like jump in you, and you're right about the sadness. I know. God.
It's trauma. It's
yes, pain.
It is pain. It's true. And I think models always have that look, which they always try and give off that like
totally
emotionless expression. But there's something about the way he did the makeup that he knew
he was going to pick the emotion for them.
Yes, and it's how you. Because how many times do you do your makeup and you're feeling it or not? Or if like when I've done artistry looks in the past where I've done rainbow tears, but I can't help but feel as colorful as it is. I was like, this is
happy makeup on a sad clown. Yeah.
I was like, this feels painful. And I was like, I kind of want to take this off like as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Where I feel like that's again, he is determining what emotion you will feel from this point forward until you take this off.
Which a lot of people, I feel like that's why they fell in love with him so much. Imagine these models, because it was for them where they were always talking about how, or being told and critiqued and whatever, about how beautiful they were or needed to be, or this, that, and the other thing. And oh my God, you're a supermodel, living your dream, be happy, be happy. To have someone that was putting a face like that on them, that almost was, I'm sure to them to a certain extent, was allowing them their sadness and pain that they needed to get off their chest to look in the mirror and see this, like to be able to have that expressed, see yourself like this, maybe reflecting something you were going on the inside.
Because he
brought it out of them.
And then even giving them almost like Kevyn was like, giving them the permission to be like, this is how we're feeling today.
Absolutely.
Give me all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's
so
truly remarkable.
And I just, this hair with the headband is unreal.
From head to toe, this is perfection.
Oh.
Okay. So again, this was
the one you were talking about?
Yes. Yeah. This is the one that I'm talking about. You know what this is giving me? Rocky Horror.
Yes.
And this is very much
Victorian Frankfurter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one to me almost, it's so funny. It's clean yet messy.
Absolutely.
And what I love about it too is that it is that Frankenfurter Rocky Horror makeup because it goes straight up to the brow. But then from the brows, it almost looks like as if you put Scotch tape along from the top of the brow down.
Yes.
And everything is just clean cut.
To be so downturned.
Oh my
And to go down like that. And then as well, the nods to the era he was clearly going for, obviously with the color choices, but yes, not only the thinness of the brow, but the placement of the brow is just deciding the emotion. Yeah. But again, for me, with the time period and the reference, the thing that just jumps off is the upper lip.
Yes.
The upper lip of this to be thinner and to have brought the lip, and you can see if you look at the very corner of her mouth.
Yep.
It's not, most people now when they're filling their lips, they're gonna almost round out the edge of their lip to make it look fuller. He literally, see how the lips come to a point.
Yes.
He literally brought the lips in to make them not as wide because he wanted that little mouth.
Almost like the 1920s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Winifred Sanderson.
Yes.
Yes. He wanted that brought in. And you can see underneath because for how little the lips look at the shadow under her lip from the light. So her lip is much bigger than it looks because it's literally making a shadow with the way the light is hitting it. But he drew on the lip intentionally smaller. Like everything was so intentional. And again, with this, the contour that we're also used to, where it's coming here and going this, he did, and especially on this model's face, a little bit more of a old school / like masculine contour where it's coming in and going down, and it's bringing out that jawbone so much stronger.
Yeah. And I love this even too with the structure of the hair.
Oh.
And he went in and did the little twirly bird right in the front with his finger, and he said, that's going there. Everything is so exquisite with this is something this is one of the looks I will always think about when I think of him, because everything is so perfectly saturated, placed.
I know.
And not overdone, and nothing competes.
No. Look at the way the contour is coming down under the cheekbone, and just like this, and then right here, the blush is blowing up, straight up in that where from her smile lines, underneath the smile line, between the smile line and the lip is still so highlighted, but he brought the blush up all here and it gradiates under the eye.
Unreal. Like really
I know.
Unreal.
Alrighty, we saved the queen for last. Cher, like I said, I got my hands on these books when I was very young, and I've obviously always been obsessed with Cher, but this picture is so burned in my brain. I was so enamored. I cannot believe how much he is saying with so little. It's virtually clean skin, one eyeshadow color, and a lipstick. But it is every detail that is completely telling a story. And to have this eye gloss on this perfectly chosen camel color, I don't even know, like khaki all over the lid, but then on that outer corner, like here, there is a whisper on the wind of a gray or just hidden almost to give that lift, but it looks like that one color. The lashes are so perfectly placed that they have to be individuals. It has to be individually placed.
It's gotta be.
That is a lace front. That is a lace front lash.
I'm sorry, they haven't come out with those.
I know. That is going in her skin. Like it is, they are so perfectly placed. And then I dare anybody right now to find that lip color. It is literally candy apple, but this brick vintage.
What I love too, there's two things about this. All the earth tones coming together.
I know.
And can I point something out that I think it's so psychotic and only he would do it? Her hands are going to be in the shot. They're glossy.
Have to have the glow. I know.
They have he put a clear gloss.
Absolutely.
He took clear lip gloss and he
absolutely
all over her digits.
All over her digits with the nails too.
The glossy fingers and glossy skin. Like you would believe her whole body's glossy.
I know.
Cher just takes off her clothes and she's just gloss.
Totally. And that's what I mean. For him to do some people, like we were saying about the Barbra Streisand recreation, there's also the Wynona Rider as Elizabeth Taylor, I believe.
Yes.
Unbelievable. He had the ability to make people, if he didn't want you to know who it was, you were not going to know who it was when they were staring straight at the camera. But then on the flip, he could take someone in a pose that you would not know who it is, you don't see their eyes, they're not whatever, and make you know exactly who it is.
With Cher's eyes open, you know it's her.
Absolutely.
I even think, looking closely in the crease of her eye, I think he even took that gray and made it just look like that was the crease color
just
of her
eye. Like so
I'm talking
deep.
with like a featherweight fucking touch.
100%.
But without it looking like there was anything. This is so.
You know what he was famous for using, which I could see him doing in this with that, like you were just saying in that crease, was the little applicators, the old school applicators.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, the little triangle thing. I have to stand up camera wise just so Kevin can see what I'm saying. Look at. So obviously we have the majority of the camel, the gray.
Oh,
hidden.
I know.
All along that
I know.
part. And the brows, the simplicity of the skin, but the way the contour connects to the outside of the lip.
Oh, yeah.
It's just sick. This has always been my favorite photo of him. And I don't even know why. It's something, again, about the emotion and the way all around her face is completely blacked out. And it looks like nothing but her and his work are in this abyss, are in space. It's just was always the most moving photo to me.
Well, the next photo of Cher is something that this is my all-time most favorite, iconic, breathtaking look that he's ever done. And when you first look at it, it's deceiving. When you look at the details, you're like,
girl,
this is otherworldly.
Let's do it.
So last but not least. Now, coming from anybody just looking at this, you're going to think this is loose glitter.
Yes.
And
he just put it all over the eye.
It's all over the eye. Now, I will challenge you, go watch the Kevyn Aucoin documentary when she closes her eyes and it was a tight shot and you saw the individual rhinestones.
These are individually placed rhinestones. And there's no space. They are up against one another. No big chunky ones. One by one by one. And you pointed
by number.
Girl, you pointed this out on the documentary and I almost got off the couch and choked you because I was thinking the same thing, which you could really tell in the shot of her eyes closed. Say it for the people.
As if it was paint by numbers, that the lid color is red, the outer corner is black, the brow bone is highlighted, and the inner corner is highlighted. He did this all. I'm not joking. I don't think there is any eyeshadow here.
No.
I don't think there's any eyeshadow. Maybe on the bottom and then obviously there's liner in the waterline, but like as if this was paint by number blended.
He did an eyeshadow look that
and
was
then traced it over with the colors.
Red into all blended perfectly and then snapped his fingers and it all turned into rhinestones. Every single rhinestone is not only individually placed, every color is specifically chosen to go where it is going to contour her eye as if it was eyeshadow.
This is I'm going to call it the classic Cher makeup.
Absolutely.
The classic Cher makeup of like where her eyes, she loves those warmer reds.
Yes.
With like the deep black and everything, like Chad Michaels.
Yes.
From RuPaul's Drag Race when he's a very famous Cher impersonator and does this makeup. And I've seen his makeup up. We saw it when we went to DragCon.
Yes.
When we met Chad Michaels. Very much that red to black cut crease, classic Cher makeup. Kevyn Aucoin said, "Oh, mama, we're going to do it, but we're doing it with
diamonds.
And Pat McGrath, I hope
Eat your heart
quaking.
Out. I know.
Because this is the OG.
The intention,
honey.
That's what I mean.
And because looking at this, if you were to just like quickly glance, you're like, oh, that's a lot of loose glitter, girl.
The color of every rhinestone is specifically chosen to be where it is. Even look at the red coming underneath only half of the lower lash line.
And then to brighten up the rest. As if, because you're blending out the smoky
it's literally
eye.
eyeshadow with diamonds. It's unbelievable. And we notice more in the documentary when you watch the video, how much he, on the tight line, the lash line, the waterline, and the lower lash line, I mean, matte blacked her out. And you could see also from more of an aerial shot in that's the top lashes, but more of an aerial shot in the documentary when her eyes are open and straight, he pinched all the lashes on the lower lash line and the lashes were really long. So it was to offset all of this shine and diamonds. How do I do that? How do I make sure when you're looking at her, you can differentiate between the light catching all these diamonds and her eyes? Okay, I need to literally make a matte black moat all around the eye to add that separation. It's unreal.
And everything else too about the makeup, the warm blush with the warm lip and everything.
It's unreal.
Because it's not that everything else was a second thought either.
No.
This is so well thought out that and again, the lighting has so much to do with it, but how he sculpted her face with primarily the blush and
I know
the same saturation of color in the lip to match that blush of that harmonious like coral.
Yeah, which should clash with the red, but somehow doesn't.
It just feels timeless in a way where it's like I feel like this makeup today would work.
Oh, of course.
And it's, oh my God, this is one of those I see it and it's just, it takes me back to the first time I saw it.
Oh, Absolutely. It's so, I just can't.
I'm like a loss for words. I think this is the least I've ever spoken in a podcast.
Yeah. And it's something also about what this was. And I'm pretty sure this was the Dove l'Amore video. I always love that song. That's the lyrics tattooed on my arm here is from Dove l'Amore. And I mean, it's the intention. It's just, he literally was the Michelangelo of makeup.
Oh my God. And just doing things before they were a trend. And he said, I'm going to make sure I'm the first to do this and do it like this on Cher.
On Cher. Fucking Cher. The documentary, when he was put the camera on her, she was like, hey, Kevyn.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is
I took that personally.
Yeah. Everybody else is like very expressive when they're on camera. Like Cindy Crawford's like, hi. Blah, blah,
oh my God, I love you.
And there's one camera shot of it going on Cher and sitting in the chair like clearly tired or something. And she's just like, hey, Kevyn. Like in her Cher voice. Yeah. And then the only other thing she said too was this. She was in the chair, and that's what I mean. You got to watch it just for this fucking scene of her. And she has nothing but the eyes, like done really. And she's just leans forward and she's like, I don't know how you have the patience to do this, Kevyn. It was so funny. But God, what he's just so iconic. That is it, guys, for a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered. I'm very happy we did this. My favorite thing is sitting here and just like climaxing.
I feel literally so connected to doing makeup right now. I feel like reborn.
I know. I'm like dying to dive in and do it.
Like I want to go over to your desk and clear everything off and be like,
just swipe my Mac off the desk.
Everything, break all the equipment and be like, sorry, I have to do makeup.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. It is so inspiring to want to try different stuff and just, I don't know, because that's the thing. It's like sad to be a part of the makeup industry. It's a weird catch-22. It's like there's more exposure than ever, but with exposure comes expectations, and there's a way to do things in a sense. And it's like, it reminds you that you can break away from that. And that's kind of hopefully always our message. But yeah, rest in peace, Kevyn Aucoin. You made these two gay boys very happy. And we hope you were as turned on by these iconic makeup looks as we were. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Get it together. Thank you guys so much for watching.
It's okay.
I get in my head about it, and then I'm like, thank you for watching. Like, I don't know how to speak. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Stop saying that. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review if you can. If you want your podcast one day early, make sure to subscribe on No.
Oh my God.
We were going to do 3.
No, we weren't.
Yeah. If you want your podcast one day early, make sure to subscribe on YouTube on the official Beautiful and Bothered YouTube channel. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. We love you guys wherever you are. We hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. And remember,
you are beautiful.
Bye, Kevyn.
Cher, where you going?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do the wagon wheel Watusi.
Give me wagon wheel Watusi. You want to show me something? Show me that. How did we not do this whole episode? When you're painting a key, it's like art. When you're painting. I'm gonna puke. What is it? Fuck. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
Shut the fuck up. When you're doing makeup, it's like you're painting a canvas.
But you're just painting a face.
Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking vomit.
See you next week.
Bye.